Sharper Point Commentary, presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Center.
Do we need an expiration date for politicians? Even though Joe Biden seemed to be a lot more like the energized, organized Joe of old, he also at times last night seemed to just be the old Joe that we've come to expect as of late. Last night, as he made his one and only speech to a Democratic National Convention as a sitting president, it turns out that it was his one and only speech as a lame duck president because his party is ready to move on out of necessity, because public opinion polls have showed time and again that the electorate was ready to move on, and the public's opinion of Joe Biden was leaving some writing on the wall for the Democrats that read Donald Trump presidency number 2. We saw a transformation take place on the stage at the United Center here in Chicago last evening, from President of the United States, Joe Biden, to surrogate Joe Biden, as in he'll simply be a spokesperson for what his party hopes will be the next Democratic president, Kamala Harris. But what's sad is that I think the Democratic Party is confused as to where they can even use him. Should he fly directly to the West Valley for a big Sun City rally, or does he do a retirement home tour? I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm telling you what is running through the heads of strategists in the Democratic Party right now. They want to focus on the shiny new object, Kamala Harris. Last night was about Joe Biden here in Chicago, but the next 2 months will be about Joe Biden's replacement. So back to my first question. Do we need a maximum presidential age? There's a minimum age to be president of the United States, 35. So do we cap it at 40 or 50 birthdays later? Do we want anybody in control of the United States nuclear arsenal after the age of 75? Some of the most vital people I know are in that age range, but my mother-in-law died a few years ago in her mid-60s from Alzheimer's, so one's mental decline can happen at a much earlier age. We have term limits for our presidents, so unlike Democratic President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one can't serve as chief executive of the U.S. for more than 8 years. But some people still say we should have mental acuity tests or brain scans or an age limit. When it comes to other politicians, like those serving in the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, I'm definitely all into adding in term limits so that some of Washington's logjam that's ballooned our debt to more than $35 trillion will have to find a different way to earn a living than off of our backs. But when it comes to picking an arbitrary age for when a U.S. citizen can no longer be president, I think our political system, including we, the voters of America, are perfectly capable of deciding who is and who is not fit to be president. Something we have seen play out over the last 4 weeks and will ultimately see play out come November. I'm Jim Sharpe, live in Chicago. Make sure you join me for our special show starting at 12:15, live from the Democratic National Convention in Chicago.
Thanks for watching Sharper Point. Click to see more from Arizona's Morning News and tap the button in the middle to subscribe.